So here I am in the process of fitting this BLTouch. Basically I've drilled 2 holes in the edge of this mounting plate that the hot end goes on. This is like the X carriage going across here, and I'm tightening, that's a locking nut under there to tighten that on there. And the plan will be probably to have some springs on there, another nut, locking nut on here, and then I can adjust it up and down a bit. Basically, that is the plan. If I need longer bolts I can get some. So I'll just finish off tightening that one and fitting this on, and then I'll come back and show you what that all looks like. So basically it's going to go like that, see, because that locking bolt nut there will stop this turning. It's quite tight on there, and just adjust this other nut that'll be under here, will be washer as well. Okay. So here it is bolted on. Oops, a bit of focus there. See some springs there. So if I loosen these nuts, it will move down, and it gives a bit of adjustment. Very small for these length of springs, but I could probably put, well, I could put longer bolts on there and have more like adjustment if I need it. Now this is possible to rock as I have it, because this flat plate here is not against another flat plate. But it only takes a very light touch indeed, extremely light. It's just like moving a piece of paper, so I don't think that's going to have a major impact. Only one way to find out is to test it and see what happens. I'm going to check the height of this, because the shoulder of this has to be 8.3 above the nozzle. So I did print out this sort of thing, which when I get on the bed I can put that over the pin like so, and that is spot on 8.3. Once I've sanded it down a little bit, I'll put the link to this below. So the idea there is, well, I'll have a sheet of paper down here, rest the nozzle on it, put this like onto the pin, bring them both down or whatever, and level this up to that 8.3 millimeters above the bed. That's a basic idea. Okay. So that will replace my older, where is it? Actually I've still got connected here. This is my older sort of thing, just some computer expansion brackets I bought through. I do have a video about this actually, and a spring on there to squeeze those 2 plates together. Some like a hole knocked in and a dent knocked in, so that'll like latch up and down, but that's been all manual mucking about with that. I have to like lower it for the bed leveling and then raise it before it starts printing and such like. So there's a look at it at this stage. Still got to obviously check the height and wire it up. I think I might actually use the same 2 wires, because they've been okay at use for this, for the 0 signal. So here I am preparing to sort of adjust it if it needs adjusting at all. I've got the nozzle resting on a sheet of paper, and I've got this part also on this sheet of paper, and that goes like round the pin that comes down, and then the edge of this basically wants to be just touching that plastic there. I haven't really adjusted anything yet, so even I don't know what that looks like. I'm just showing you this stage so you know how I'm doing it anyway, if everything works out okay. Just wanted to show you this stage. This piece of plastic seems to work, so far as I can tell, reasonably well. That's one reason I put the dent in there. I think somebody asked about this, is gives you a bit better grip when you're moving it about. That just goes over that pin, okay, that like gap in it. Right, I'll see how much this needs adjusting, if anything. Right, I basically adjusted it. It didn't need a lot actually, it was almost spot on, about ½ millimetre or so. But I think these balls could be a bit longer to make sure that they go in, because these are like nylon inserts in the tips of these sort of nuts, and like lock and stop them vibrating loose. These might vibrate loose over time because I don't think they're really on, well, biting into the nylon thread, but apart from that it's come out reasonably well. So let me have a look. Does that sorry, does that actually look straight? I think it's the camera angle actually that makes it look a bit slanty, or is it? I have decided to make these balls longer. I'm just going to chop down some other balls I've got, and I just wanted to point out that this wire actually can rub against this sort of smooth rod, this X sort of gantry smooth rod in a way, and but this is, it's a bit like Captain tape with printing on, I think. So I intend to cut that a bit so that this wire won't be so high up near this, oops, going out of focus, near this sort of level part on the top there. Okay, I've got off, and as you can see, if it'll pull focus, those wires are basically fastened around here by this tape stuff. So I think a careful cut along here, and then it won't be so near the top edge, and that'll be able to be like moved away from this smooth rod that goes here, because when it's, even when there's a gap there, those wires are still very close, if not touching this smooth rod. I mean, you've got quite a bit of play there, I think. Probably some hot glue to make sure that it won't come off, or super glue or something to stick them on there. Right, I'll do that. So here we are. I've cut along the edge of the wire. Be careful if you do this, because you don't want to cut the wires obviously. And I managed to actually stick that bit of, I'm sure that's almost Captain tape there with some printing on, classic. Says, and that gives me, I can now bend these wires down a bit more, and they'll be below that smooth rod. I'm just going to get some bit of hot glue and stick it on there to make sure those wires stay stable, just a small amount. Okay, So here it is with its hot glue on it. I put some hot glue on the top around here as well to push the wires over, let that set. That's pretty strong and it's not going to vibrate loose or come loose or anything. Right, I'll bolt it back onto the carriage, which I've already put these longer bolts on, a bit longer. It'll give me a little bit more adjustment possibly, and also give the nuts a bit more thread to grab onto, because they are locking nuts. These are locking nuts that are under here. Tighten those bolts on there so that they're not going to really move. Okay, well, I've done that side a bit, and in my case I'm just going to do each side a few, or maybe half a turn here of the bolt, basically gradually, so that goes up evenly, trying to keep the probe level. It's a bit more awkward for me with this camera tripod here, etc, etc. And then after say half a turn of the bolt there, now that will go just very nicely under there. Just, it almost feels like when I put a sheet of paper under the hot end, that it just get a bit of friction, a bit of grip. So I reckon that should be okay. Now what I'm also, let me raise this up a bit. Actually, I'll move the camera now. So, okay, let me, because I've reset the Z thing in Marlin in the config file so that it won't go below the end stops. And I'm back in front of this, just go to connect now. Yeah, connected. Let me try the Z home just a second, because I want to be ready to turn the machine off if it goes haywire. And again, it's going up instead of going home. So what's happening there? It's getting the alarm here. See how that's flashing? Not sure. Let me turn that light off. So it's got some sort of a fault message. And I need to do one of the G commands to take that off. What are the, so it's M280 P0 and S is 60, no, it's 160 160. So I'm typing that into front of face, into the command line sort of thing, send, and see that's turned that off now. So let me try that again. That's why it seemed to be going up, I think. It's because it had the alarm message on, 0. So the probe comes down. Again, getting ready to stop it. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Well, so far as I can tell, that worked okay, as you've seen. To me, it seems to go a bit high up after it's finished. As I say, that's probably part of the config file I need to readjust. Right, I've done some changes in the configuration and I'm about to plug this in. I wanted to show you what go through its self-test. as I plug it in. Keep at this angle I think for now. But here we go, plug in. So see how it comes down, goes up, comes down, goes up. And I'm going to print a 10mm cube, just a sort of calibration piece. It's just to show you. So first of all it's going to warm up as normal, that'll take a few moments. So the bed's about coming to temperature. I've got it set to go to 70 degrees, 70 degrees on the heat bed there. It's at 68 at the moment, so it won't be long now. Once that gets the temperature, I think it'll start moving as it starts increasing the nozzle temperature. So there we are. So it's going to the end stops there, and it comes more with the probe in the centre of the bed. Touch it down, so, and now it will go through the auto leveling routine. So I'm asking for 9 points on the bed. That's pretty standard for Marlin to do. 9 points. You can ask for different numbers of points it tests. So what it's doing now, it's checking the height of the bed in 9 positions. 3 along this edge, 3 along the middle, and 3 along the back. I'm printing on blue painter's tape here. This has been cleaned off with isopropyl alcohol. This is some fresh painter's tape. So the nozzle now is at 190. The first layer I'm asking 190 degrees, and then I'm dropping that to 180 on the nozzle. The bed is stopping at 70 degrees throughout this print. Just a second, because I've got to, I ask it to raise the nozzle a bit here to get any ooze off the nozzle using long nose pliers there. And now it will start. Going to start coming in for actually printing this 10mm cube. I'll just move the angle of the camera a bit. So this is a 11-minute print, give or take a bit. This 10mm cube, it's only like a calibration test piece really. So I'm printing in PLA. It's 1.75mm, although it measures more near 1.70 actual. E3D version 6 hot end, which I've got set to 190 for the first layer, 180 after the first layer. So that hot end is 0.4mm, and the heat bed down here is set to 70 degrees throughout this print. Oops. Sometimes I go out of focus on this camera when it zooms in. So with these balls I can adjust this up and down on these sort of springs here if I need to a little bit. I am asking for a skirt on there as you see, but no raft. Two light turns on the skirt to go around, that's just to get the filament flowing to a certain extent and to check the squishing on the bed, make sure it's got the layer okay, and there we are, it's finished. So I asked the nozzle to go all the way to the top, 200 in this case. There's a very fine piece of string in here. I doubt if you can even see that. You might get it glistening in the camera there as it's going up. And then I asked the nozzle, bed to come forward, play a little tune to let me know it's finished. So the bed's at 70 degrees here, so I have to be careful because it is pretty hot. I'll give that a few moments to cool down a bit. So you might notice some sort of bumps there. That's where probably the nozzle's been raised. I think I do have random on here, so it shouldn't put the seam all in one place. Right, I'll see how easy this is to come off now. You can see it's lifting that painter's tape a bit. Still pretty warm, that bed. Quite hot actually. This isn't really to get it off, it's just more to prise it up and to stop it lifting the blue painter's tape more than anything, if I can. Just doing that very slowly. Back in the focus again, so there's the bottom. Blue painter's tape washed off with isopropyl alcohol. 10mm cube that. I believe you can change the patterns. I think that's concentric sort of circling that I've asked for. This is a pretty solid piece. I think the infill's set to about 50%. On a small piece like this, you're not going to get much infill, and because I asked for about 5 layers on the top and the bottom. That's come out okay, and I did one of these earlier and measured it, and it wasn't even spot on, to be honest. On a small piece like this, I don't think it's going to run out of through over a small distance, so to speak, so I wouldn't class that as a too accurate a piece to test for measurements and such like, and that's coming off now. I've just managed to catch it with my nail. It feels a bit almost like it's sticking a bit, which is probably ideal. Don't know about this white here is feels like it's actually torn the blue painter's tape, like the surface of the blue painter's tape. This bed is still pretty warm. It's saying 34 degrees. That print was a 15-minute print, and normally would take about 11 minutes, but because I'm asking for the bed to warm up, it's adding another 4 minutes or so to that time. So as you see, that was successful. So there's my BLTouch up there, and it's been basically okay after a bit of tweaking, so to speak, of the Z probe height and such like. Time will tell if this will be okay over time, but I can't see any problems occurring with this BLTouch, to be honest.